This is the GAC GS3 Emzoom. Now on the surface, it might look just like another typical crossover from yet another Chinese brand, here to steal a piece of the lucrative SUV pie. Well, okay, maybe not so typical because it looks like a college kid has somehow been given the task of designing it. Well, Chinese car makers certainly don't shy away from gimmicks, especially if it's one that really helps them sell their cars. So the fact that this here looks like a Gundam robot, or the fact that there's even a real exhaust valve at the back, you might think that this is just another attempt at winning over the coveted young car buyer crowd. But if you ask me, I think this car here actually has a lot more to it than meets the eye. The GAC GS3 Emzoom comes in 3 different flavours, all 3 of which are locally assembled here in Segambut. Prices start at 104,000 ringgit, although this range-topping Premium R variant comes in slightly more at 127,000 ringgit. As always, it's the most expensive variant that gets all the goodies, including some visual tweaks that make it stand out even more. But even without them, I think the GS3 is still a very sharp looking car. And they really weren't kidding when they say it's robot inspired, because its marketing copy is filled to the brim with words like flying mecha front fascia, laser eye LED headlights, or whatever the hell light dart tail lights mean. One thing's for sure is that it's not one for subtlety, especially on this Premium R variant with the twin tailpipe exits displayed loud and proud between the diffuser element on the rear bumper, which are finished with orange highlights in case you can't get enough of other people staring at you. And when you have exhausts that sound like this, believe me, people will stare. Of course, as they say, beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder, so I will reserve judgment and let you make your own decision. But I have to say though, that this compared to the previous GS3, well, this here does at least look like a much more mature product as a whole. One that, inspiration aside, does at least have a coherent design language around it. One that uses a lot of this triangle motif all around its entire exterior. This third brake light up here, nestled within this intricate spoiler design, I think this is actually a really nice touch and one that will definitely draw your attention if you're not already drawn to this massive diffuser down here, which is suitably finished in orange. For however extravagant the exterior design is though, they have for some unknown reason decided to omit the rear windscreen wiper. Why? Call me old school, but I'd much rather have something functional like a windscreen wiper than that pointless exhaust. Or maybe it's just me showing my age. At least you do get these pop-out door handles, which is a first-in-class feature even though it is still a bit gimmicky, and the 18-inch wheels also complement the design very nicely. The wheels, by the way, are standard across the range. Now, I did mention that there's more than meets the eye here, and even though we are just barely scratching the surface, you can really start to see what this car is all about. Because as soon as you open the door, it's almost as if you're transported to an entirely different car inside. Dropping the sporty boy racer looks for something a lot more grown up. I do actually really like how this cabin looks and feels. I mean, check this out, the entire dashboard and the door cuts, they are all completely softly padded. Now, it might just be me showing my age again, but I think in a B segment SUV like this, where most of your buyers are probably going to be starting their own family very soon, well, I think a little bit of comfort and a little bit of luxury can go a long way when it comes to convincing your missus. And it's not just looks, because even its standard equipment scream premium. The 10.25-inch infotainment display is standard across the range, and the exclusive and premium variants also get an additional 7-inch digital instrument cluster plus a black and blue leatherette upholstery. But it's the range topper that gets all the proper upmarket goodies like the 6-way power adjustable driver's seat and a panoramic glass roof with a powered sunshade. As fancy as all those things sound, the best part is they are not all just for show. The steering wheel here has both tilt and reach adjustments. There's the wireless Apple CarPlay connectivity, a wireless charging pad for your mobile phone, and even an extra storage space down here underneath the center console, which might be perfect for things like your bags. I really do like this little trim over here for you to mount your mobile phone holder, and thank God they've retained some physical buttons for your climate control. The DTS branded speakers also actually do sound very good, and heck, nothing shouts premium more than having a crystal shard in the gear shift lever. Now if they can add just one more physical knob for the volume control, it'd be pretty much perfect. The GAC GS3's most notable feature though is actually its space and comfort, particularly here in the back seats, because in terms of dimensions, this here is actually amongst the largest in the segment. Now first things first, this seat here is in my normal driving position and I still have ample amounts of knee room, headroom is okay, and as well as shoulder room. Well, at least for a B segment. What I like the most here though is the fact that the floor here is actually completely flat. So it gives you the impression of more space at the back with more leg room. So if you actually want to stretch out a little bit, you can do that. The seats themselves, they're actually really comfortable with soft yet supportive paddings, and the seats have a really nice contour on it on the seat backs as well as the seat base to really cradle you in place. The fold-down center armrest comes with molded cup holders, and there's also the rear aircon vent and a USB-A port to charge your mobile devices. It is kinda weird though that there's only one of each. Now that's all well and good, but according to GAC's own marketing materials, the real magic here happens when you put these seats down, because this space apparently transforms into a 1.8 meter long bed. So in the name of professional car journalism, YouTubering, I'll have to test it out myself personally. So I am 1.73 meters tall, and this space here, well, maybe not quite 1.8 meters because my legs are actually dangling behind, but it is at least flat. For a more, well, standard use case of your boot, you can expect to fit 341 liters of cargo with the seats up in their normal position, which is pretty respectable for a car in this segment. Fold down the seats and the cargo area expands up to 1,271 liters with a flat boot floor, perfect for your weekend IKEA trips. If you're expecting the GS3 Emzoom to drive like the way that it looks, well, sorry, but you might just be a bit disappointed here. But I don't actually think that that is a bad thing, because like its cabin, the driving dynamics here is also designed to be comfort oriented. And for the same reasons like its interior, well, in a car like this, I actually do prefer that over those jumpy, nervous, so-called sporty feeling. This car here is soft, it's plushy, and when you pair it to a quiet cabin with really not a lot of wind noise and road noise, I think this here is actually a very nice place to be in, especially on long distance drives. It is also really efficient. Now, over the weekend, my car here recorded an average of 8.5 liters per 100 km over mixed driving conditions, plus a little bit of fun as well. Well, honestly, that's not bad. Not as good as their quoted 5.9 liters per 100 km, but it is a lot better than what I've achieved in other cars in this segment. It's definitely not sporty by definition, and it's not up there with the Proton X50s or the Honda HR-Vs. But that said, I think this car is actually still a pretty competent car to drive around. Now, it is on the softer side of things, but I think the suspension here is actually still very well sorted. It never feels floaty, and the way that it sits over the humps, honestly, I might even call it a little bit European. The road imperfections and uneven surfaces, well, those things are still coming through the suspension and steering wheel as road feedback. The front end, I think, is still sharp enough, and even though you might get a little bit more body roll in the corner, it never feels cumbersome or unwieldy to drive. Honestly, I might even say that it feels natural around the back roads. And with the engine's performance, this car can and does go pretty fast when you want it to. The 1.5-litre turbocharged inline-4 engine here is rated for an output of 177 horsepower and 270 Nm of torque, making it pretty much the most powerful pure petrol option in its class, and it really does translate to real-world driving. It's most obvious when it comes to the highways. As cliche as it sounds, overtaking really is as easy as putting your foot down. It is completely effortless, with the car barely hesitating to pick up speed. It's just a little funny though that even though they put so much emphasis on the car's sportiness, the GS3 Emzoom in Malaysia still misses out on gear shift pedals behind the steering wheel. In fact, there's actually no way at all for you to control the gear shifts manually. Where this car starts to fall a little bit apart though is when it comes to the slower city driving situations, and it's mainly down to the throttle mapping on this car. Now for one, there is some sort of weird delay to it that it only reacts to your inputs about half a second after you've already pressed on the accelerator. And then the DCT gearbox, it's also almost too eager to accelerate at just the slightest touch of the accelerator pedal. And when you put two of those together, well, this car might just be a little bit difficult to drive smoothly, especially in the traffic jam. Now to be fair, that is probably something that you'll eventually get better at the more that you drive the car and the more that you get used to the way that it reacts. But still, there'll eventually come a time where, say, you have to make an emergency lane change in traffic jams, and when you just accidentally press that little bit more throttle, the car will just lurch forward, and that is already annoying to the driver, but imagine how your passenger will feel. The good thing is that the steering weight can be adjusted independently of the driving mode, so you can still fine-tune your driving feel to how you like it. Well, yes, the GAC GS3 Emzoom is a B-segment crossover from yet another Chinese brand vying for your attention. But in many ways, it's also not just any other run-of-the-mill car. I think it definitely has enough going for it that sets itself apart from its competition, and with its sporty character and roomy interior, it also has something for just about anyone. In any case, the market for B-segment crossovers here in Malaysia now has another very strong competitor, which can never be a bad thing for us consumers. Head on over to AutoBuzz.my to learn more about the GAC GS3 Emzoom. Click on the like button if you enjoyed today's video and subscribe for more videos like this. What would be your pick in this competitive segment? The X50, Omoda 5 or this? Well, let us know in the comments below.